Dana Perino along with Judge Jeanine Pirro, Harold Ford Jr., Jesse Waters, and Greg Gutfeld. It's 5 o'clock in New York City, and this is The Five. So, this is it, America. The polls, they don't matter anymore. The rallies are over, and it's now time for you to decide. We are less than an hour away from the first polls closing in the 2024 election. Millions of Americans have already cast their ballots as we get ready to close the chapter on one heck of a campaign season. From 2 assassination attempts on Donald Trump to a terrible debate and mutiny causing President Biden to drop out, and the subsequent rise of Kamala Harris. It has all been unprecedented. And we will be getting our first batch of Fox News voter analysis popping up on your screen very soon, and how voters feel about those key issues that defined this election. But first, the candidates are racing to the finish with their final pitches.
My message to you and to all Americans tonight is very simple. We do not have to live this way. We don't have to settle for weakness and incompetence and decline and decay.
Our campaign has tapped into the ambitions and the aspirations and the dreams of the American people. And we know it is time for a new generation of leadership in America.
Vice President Harris trying to seal the deal by knocking on a few doors in Pennsylvania, and she is banking on the star power of Lady Gaga, as we called her yesterday, and Oprah to bolster her closing message during a rally in Philly.
If we don't show up tomorrow, it is entirely possible that we will not have the opportunity to ever cast a ballot again.
I cast my vote for someone who will be a president for all Americans.
So where are the candidates tonight? Well, Donald Trump is at Mar-a-Lago and will be having a watch party down there in Florida. And Kamala Harris will be watching results at Howard University in D.C. That's where she went to college. She had a pit stop to rally the troops at the DNC. Here's the contenders weighing in on the race earlier today.
I ran a great campaign. I think it was maybe the best of the three. I'm not a Democrat. I'm able to make a speech on pretty quick notice. If I win, I know what I'm going to say, and I don't even want to think about the losing part. There's never been a movement like this, and we're going to turn our country around.
I'm looking at you and you're looking at me? Oh, because there's a live camera somewhere. Which camera is, this is, okay, I'm waving it.
Okay, so we're coming to the end. I'm gonna save Greg because he is in a mood and we are all enjoying it very much, but we're gonna wind it up first with Jesse Waters to give us some thoughts before we get going tonight.
Well, I woke up at 6 and I went to vote immediately. And as I walked in, there was a guy next to me. He was wearing a garbage bag. And I gave him a fist bump and I said, let's go. So we locked in the vote. Then Emma went and voted. And I didn't look at the news all day. So I didn't like to look at this stuff because who cares? Nothing's going to make a difference. Everyone's texting me, how's it looking, Jesse? How's it looking? And I'm like, it's looking good. You know, we got a great early vote. It's looking strong. I come in confident, relaxed into the building. And Kayleigh McEnany's freaking out about Philly. Oh, they're saying Philly's coming out strong. The numbers in Philly are so big. I said, oh, my God. So then I start freaking out. And I hadn't been freaking out, so I did not need to hear Kayleigh. So now I have to do research. I have to talk to the Trump people and all the data people. And I said, what are we hearing about Philly here? They're saying they're getting close to maybe 700,000 in Philadelphia County. It's more than Barack. It's more than Hillary. It's more than Biden. Is that possible? And they said, Jesse, don't worry. There's only about 700,000 registered Democrats in Philadelphia County. That would mean they would have to bring out every single Democrat who is registered, and they would all have to vote for Kamala Harris. Is it possible? Sure. Statistically possible? Probably not. Even with that 700,000 Philadelphia County turnout, which we don't even know if it's possible, it still probably will not be enough, they say, to overcome the advantage the Republicans have. I'm hearing we should be looking at New Hampshire. I'm hearing we should be looking at Virginia. This isn't something that I made up. This is something that I'm hearing and I'm reporting to you. So everybody stay calm. And if you haven't voted and you live in Virginia or New Jersey or New Hampshire or Maine or New Mexico, go vote.
Better get out there.
Because these are close states.
So, Judge, when I woke up this morning and saw that Ditchville, Knox, which is the first place to vote every 4 years, they have 6 people that vote there. And it came in 3-3. And I was like, okay, so like, we're still tied.
Yeah.
And here we are. But we go into tonight. We're going to get some Fox News voter analysis soon, so we'll have some information. I think it's starting to come up on your screen now.
You know, when I woke up this morning, and I think like most people in this country, the first thing you thought of was the election. I don't think we've ever had an election where so many people were so invested in it. You know, there have been important elections, but something about this election is just, it's baked into us. And what I thought about was that tonight, if we get to know tonight, America will deliver a very clear message. And then as I went through the day, I started getting nervous. I don't know why. I mean, I ran for office 5 times. I mean, I got nervous, but at the same time, you know, you just figure, well, you know, it should go my way. But I'm nervous because everybody's calling me and texting me.
Yeah.
And they saw me when I was voting. They were like, is he going to win? Is he going to win? And I'm like, well, I don't know yet. I don't know yet. And in the end, I think that as you look at this, it would be, it's historic. I mean, Donald Trump's been indicted. You know, he's been impeached. He's been, there have been 2 assassination attempts. And, you know, he just gets up and says, fight, fight, fight.
Yep.
So, you know, Donald Trump didn't leave a thing on the field. He put it all in. And as he just said, he said, I think this was my best campaign. He didn't even want to get off the stage last night at 2 in the morning because he's still got so much energy. And then, of course, I thought about Kamala and, you know, the woman who wants to get involved in the redistribution of wealth and who just showed up and didn't have a vote to even get to run for president. And I say the American people are smarter than all that. But I guess today is just the day where we kind of ignore the polls, as Jesse said, and just kind of, you know, go with our gut and hope that our person, the best man, wins.
I mentioned this Fox News voter analysis. This is the information you're seeing on your screen there. And this is a big effort that we do in conjunction with the Associated Press, where I think they go out to 100,000 voters and they ask them what is important to your vote. So that's showing up on your screen right now, and Sandra Smith is going to take us through that in a little bit. But before we do that, of course, we got to get to Harold and then Greg. Harold.
So good to be back with everybody. I hope everybody voted. I hope anybody watching who's not voted anywhere in the country, I hope you take the time today to go and vote if you have not already. I've talked a little today about, I've been on the ballot like you, Judge, and to me, this is Christmas Day. This is the culmination of all the hard work you and I and other candidates, thousands of candidates throughout our history, if not millions, and certainly those who are on the ballot today. So I wish them nothing but the best, whether you win or lose, and I hope everyone has the right mood about it afterwards. I think as we come to this final day and we come to analyze, we realize that the commentating is really, it's no longer, because now we can analyze how people, that's why I think this data that Dana just pointed to is so interesting and so important for us to kind of not only understand but digest here as we begin to see these numbers. I thought the end of the race, I thought that President Trump the last 10 days probably sounded a little too contentious at times. And I thought his final statement here that you pointed to, Judge, I thought he sounded really well there. I think if the tone had been a little more of that in the last several days, he might feel differently, or you might have felt differently, or I should say some of the commentary you've been getting during the day. But we've got a long night in front of us. I'm looking forward to seeing all of the numbers. And as I said, I hope that most importantly, that after tonight or after tomorrow night, when we get all the numbers in, that we as a country understand that campaigns are about disagreements, but outcomes in these campaigns are about time to move on. Whether my team wins or loses, I'm going to accept it and put on my American jersey tomorrow and get ready to fight for my country.
I saved you here in your own studio for this special occasion of the 5 for Life.
I hope it's just the jersey. I woke up this morning and I got up very quietly because I didn't want to wake Harold. He looks like an angel when he's asleep. But I want to focus on Trump's message, because it's such a powerful one and it's a very simple one. We do not have to live this way. That is the mantra of recovery. Kamala's message is, if you break up with us, your life will be over. It'll never be the same. That is the language of addiction. People fall into addiction because they wake up every morning, and despite the misery, they repeat the same process until finally someone says, you don't have to live this way. It's a very simple statement, but we often forget. But when somebody says, if you leave, your life is over, this will be the last election, it's the end of democracy, you can't survive without me, it's a lie. It's the reason why people stay in bad relationships. It's the reason why people stay in abusive relationships. It's why people stay in a terrible, terrible party. And that's why it's like, you know, they're trying to make people too scared to go against their party. This election is about two sides, Peanut versus P. Diddy. On one side, you have millions of Americans who are largely apolitical, but circumstances forced them to participate, whether it was COVID lockdowns that destroyed their businesses, activists trying to derange your children, or a government storming your house and killing your pet squirrel. So somehow you are compelled to vote. We're all turned into John Wicks. They shot our dog. You know, it's not like we entered politics. Politics entered us. Then you have the other side. Every name on the guest list for P. Diddy has endorsed Harris. J-Lo has the gall to ask women to trust her judgment after slumming with a sex fiend for years. Are you serious? Every notable name that comes out for Harris represents a decadent, elitist, amoral faction that exists independent of any hardship that they vote in support of. You know, J-Lo, Oprah, Cardi B, they don't have to worry about crime or immigration or inflation. So it's the opposite of Peanut, right? They feel no impact of government, which is why they can embrace it. So I return to this other comparison that I made before. The actors from the Avengers movie endorsed Harris. The actual Avengers endorsed Trump. Harris got the actors, all conforming obediently. Trump has the real superheroes, Musk, RFK, Tulsi Gabbard, and they all came to Trump independently, just like superheroes do when they join forces. It's always reluctant, like, you know, Superman has to join up with Batman. So it feels like the climax of a superhero movie. The first act, up 2016, the second act, 2020, Jan 6, COVID. The third act, he almost dies. And then what happens?
Then what happens?
Exactly.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.